It Was a Thing on TV.
Total Red Man has ever done something like this to me! It's, time!
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the dregs of humanity!
Episode 228, the 2021 Year in Review. The 2021 Year in Review lasted from January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021 for 365 days of the year.
Yeah, in case you haven't figured it out, this is the Year in Review Spectacular, where we talk about all the big happenings on television this year that will become the things on TV in the future. Like the Baron Zemo dance.
Dun, 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 dun.
They're both doing it right now, I'm just saying.
Yes.
That was the big thing in the spring of 2021. Everyone was doing the Baron Zemo dance. And by everyone, I just mean myself. And Daniel Bruhl.
By the way, Daniel Bruhl, he doesn't get typecast as the German heel. Not at all.
No, not especially in The King's Man.
Go see The King's Man.
Just like Mr. Whipple doesn't get cast as the drunk.
Or the guy from The Last Precinct being typecast as Elvis.
Hey, he did that to himself. but anyway, we have a lot to talk about and not a lot of time, so let's get right to it with the worst of 2021. And of course, we can't talk about the worst of 2021 without talking about the worst game show reboot of 2021, which is actually a pretty good show, except for one teeny, tiny, itty-bitty, microscopic little thing.
Just
the
one?
Host.
Just one? Oh, I think it's horrible.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty horrible.
It is horrible. And
but in spite of it being so horrible, it's getting a second season.
Right?
Because Fox doesn't have anything.
Well, and the thing of it is, it's like the prize budget is a joke. And when you're not giving that much away to begin with, you can afford to have, the ratings that they have. I mean, they get a 0.7.
Do you know what it's up against here in New York? Do you want to know?
What's it up against in New York?
Okay, on Channel 2, Entertainment Tonight. Channel 4, Access Hollywood. Channel 7, Wheel of Fortune. WWOR Channel 9, Family Feud. And on WPX Channel 11, reruns of Young Sheldon.
Okay, you know what it's up against here?
What's
I'm looking here in Raleigh, Durham. As I look up look it up in the TV guide here. Here we go. It comes on at 11:30 at night, which means it is up against on CW22, TMZ, on WRAL, The Tonight Show, on CBS 17, The Late Show, on ABC 11, Jimmy Kimmel Live, on Fox 50, off-broadcast reruns of Young Sheldon, and that's it.
That's it.
You see, and here, it airs in prime time. We get a full hour from 8 to 9 p.m. So it goes up against all the big stuff, all the big stuff, the big three or the
so
big
no
four
one's
show.
watching it.
Yeah, you're either in dead or watching something good.
Well, I will give it a shred of credit because it is sandwiched between 2 hours of Family Feud.
That'll do it.
It's got an hour of Feud before
it.
The
power of Steve compels you.
And it's got an hour of Feud after it. So right in that sandwich, that block is You Bet Your Life. But yeah, it's just so bad. And I say that in spite of a good friend of the show who's going to be on it sometime next year.
Yeah, she was supposed to be on it last week, but they flipped some shows around. And
well, there must be two friends then, because I'm talking about a he.
Oh, you were talking about a he? I'm talking about a she.
Okay. So 2 of our friends are supposed to be on it.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right. So we go from that to one of the most. This is so amazing. Okay. All Elite Wrestling, AEW on TNT, had a great year. Of course, they got former WWE wrestlers CM Punk and Bryan Danielson in the middle of the year. But earlier this year, in the main event at Revolution 2021 between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley, they had an exploding time bomb death match in the main event. And the whole thing... Yes! An exploding time bomb barbed wire death match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. And the whole big thing in the match was, oh my god, the ring, it's gonna explode at any moment. And then they get to the end, the ring is supposed to explode, there's gonna be these big explosions, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my god, this is gonna be so amazing, right? You're gonna have like these, I wonder what the explosions are gonna be, I wonder what the pyrotechnics are gonna be for the big explosion when the bomb goes off. And, well, here we go. And whatever sound effect was not added by me. 3, 2, 1. And I did not add that sound effect. But yeah, that was it. What? What the?
So to review, a bunch of pyrotechnics, and then somebody farted.
No, that was added by somebody.
Oh.
Oh, that would have been great if it wasn't added by somebody.
It would have. But nobody farted. That was just whoever uploaded the video. I couldn't find the full video unedited. That's the best I could find.
But basically, since this is not a video podcast, there was no explosion.
There was no. There was like a little poof of explosion. And I was like, poof.
Yeah. It's like if you've ever seen Price is Right when they do Golden Road, they have those cauldrons on the 2 sides that shoot out the fireworks or sparklers or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm about.
Yeah, I know.
Imagine that, but at maybe about a quarter capacity. It was just like a little twinkle.
Yeah, it's probably why the fart effect was added by whoever uploaded that.
Yeah. By the way, I have I basically have the 2-sentence synopsis on Truth by Consensus Wikipedia. After the match, Kenny Omega, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson continued to beat down Moxley until the 1-minute timer began counting down for the ring to explode. The 3 departed, but before the ring could explode, Eddie Kingston ran down to try to save Moxley. Kingston was not able to unhandcuff Moxley and covered Moxley to protect him from the lackluster explosion. Medical personnel tended to both wrestlers as the show went off the air.
Kenny Omega may be a tough son of a but he can't make an exploding ring worth of
Well, guys, if you can believe it, it's not the most embarrassing thing associated with Tony Khan in 2021, am I right?
See,
you lost to the Jets.
No, beyond that. But also, don't forget Urban Meyer. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, next we're going to go into... Oh, Mike, you've been looking forward to this all year.
Well, no, I don't think I've been looking forward to it all year, especially considering I haven't seen it for maybe about 10 months. But actually, one of the first things that happened this year, on January 2nd of 2021, there was a cartoon that debuted in Denmark. And it was for kids, believe it or not. And you're probably saying, well, yeah, cartoons are meant for kids. Well, this cartoon, maybe not. It's called John Dillerman, and there's something very special about John Dillerman, specifically his prehensile penis. I'm not kidding.
This is for kids.
And this is for kids. And he uses it to like grab onto like telephone poles and trees. He like gets a frisbee stuck from in a tree out of a tree by, use your imagination. But this actually made headlines on CNN again within the first couple days of the new year, and it looks like it's still on the air. It's not canceled. 20 episodes have aired thus far, believe it or not. But yeah, that's a cartoon in Denmark. John Dillerman, the guy with a prehensile penis, apparently.
Yeah, and the executive behind this show has gone on record as saying that part of the show's ambition was to make children's content that dares to tackle embarrassing, difficult, quirky, and funny topics. That it was about being true to oneself and one's flaws, and that it acknowledged children's curiosity about human bodies. He said that the series was as desexualized as it could possibly get, and that it was developed together with a child psychologist and other professionals who reviewed the scripts to ensure that children wouldn't misinterpret what they saw.
Okay, Chief. Boy, I'd say we need a palate cleanser after that one, but I don't think what's coming up next is a palate cleanser.
Jesus, no!
No!
Oh, Jesus!
No! This is where we insert the gif of Jack Nicholson going, no! Damn.
This was the big game show story of 2021, which is basically Jeopardy in 2021, the good, the bad, and the oh so ugly. The good, we have guest hosts raising almost $3 million for charity. The bad,
yeah, we got one of the worst decisions in history.
I was like, how could you get it so very wrong? And how could you let Dr. Oz be a part of it? Anyway.
Could you believe that Dr. Oz is not even the second worst Jeopardy host of 2021 who did something disgusting this year?
And then, you know what? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Seems like after 7 months of all of this going on, all this hand-wringing about who's going to host the next era of Jeopardy, Mike Richards steps up and says, I have found the perfect person to host Jeopardy from this day forward. Myself.
What a shocker.
He pulled a Dick Cheney.
Yep.
I think we all knew that was going to happen. I mean, honestly, you look at Mike Richards, and I honestly think he has the sincerity of a used car salesman. I wouldn't trust the guy with the thing. I knew he was going to end up being the host just because he's that type of person. He's a creep. Oh, but hey, you want to get into creepy and Mike Richards?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
See, this is where the internet comes to the rescue. Because,
thank you, Claire McNair.
Yes, Claire McNair, the reigning queen of all things Jeopardy general knowledge. She literally wrote the book on it, answers in the form of questions. By the way, good read, pick it up. She did some digging, and she found... Oh, God, what didn't she find? She found misogyny, she found racism, she found sexism. Basically, Mike Richards, you were being a bad little boy.
Yeah, this is when he had a podcast. I think it was around 2013 or so. So he would have been executive producer of Price is Right. And for some reason, I remember it existing. I remember reading about it somewhere back in the day. But apparently it took Claire 8 years later to find the podcast again and just blow the entire cover off of Mike Richards and show how much of a scumbag he is.
Yep. To the point where, you know what, I don't know if this was a sort of resign or be fired situation, but it wouldn't shock me if it was.
I'm pretty sure it was. I mean, he was under that much scrutiny.
But yeah, this was basically Mike Richards hosted 1 week of Jeopardy and then stepped down.
And then was replaced by Ken Jennings.
And Mayim Bialik. Don't forget Mayim Bialik. Well, in naming Mike Richards as the new host,
Yeah,
they also said that Mayim Bialik was going to be hosting primetime specials like the upcoming National College Tournament, which I'm really looking forward to.
On ABC, yes.
But when Mike Richards stepped down, Ken Jennings and Mayim Bialik basically played musical chairs with the hosts, and it's going to be like that till the end of the season in July.
And it's going to be that way until probably Mayim Bialik's series Call Me Cat gets canceled.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that they named Ken the permanent host.
I wouldn't be surprised either. Actually, if they chose one over the other, hell, if they kept the status quo, it would not shock me.
No, I'd have no issues with that. I think they're both equally good. And yeah, I think getting Mayim Bialik for special tournaments and whatnot, definitely a way to play it, given especially, you know, if Call Me Cat sticks around for 4 or 5 seasons, she can use it as a little side hustle, if you will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think it's going to last 4 or 5 seasons, but just throwing that possibility out there.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget that Dick Clark, back in the day, he had shows on 3 networks at the same time.
Oh, yes.
He had Bandstand on ABC. He had Bloopers and Practical Jokes on NBC, and he had Pyramid on CBS. So if anybody can juggle a schedule like Dick could, there should be no issues with Jeopardy and Call Me Cat.
Or Seacrest.
Or Michael Strahan doing Good Morning America and The Pyramid and doing Fox football coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nothing for him. So, yeah, that was the Mike Richards Jeopardy debacle. And,
let's never speak of it again.
Never.
Yeah. Well, speaking of disappointment, Chico. We talked about this earlier this year, but...
Yeah. Okay. WandaVision. The very first sort of mainline MCU TV series. Started off really good, but it sort of pulled a Game of Thrones in which it sort of just threw up its head at the ending. Okay.
It had its head completely up its ass.
Basically. And in case you don't know what the whole premise is...
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Wanda Maximoff is basically conjured an alternate reality within the city of Westview, New Jersey, in which she's basically going through the history of television sitcom in 7 weeks, in which she is the picture-perfect wife to Vision, who is the picture-perfect husband, even though he's a bit of solid state. And then
because he's a robot?
Yeah, because he's a robot.
Yes, he's a robot.
And then there's some kids involved. Fake Quicksilver gets involved somehow. And then there are not agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.W.O.R.D.
Agents of S.W.O.R.D.
Who are led by this bad guy who is the worst bad guy ever.
The worst bad guy ever?
Yes.
Steve Bannon?
No. Even more incompetent than Steve Bannon, if you can believe that.
Oh, wow.
Who could possibly be worse than Steve Bannon?
That guy who I can't even remember the name of. He was so terrible, his character on WandaVision. I don't even remember the guy's name. All I can remember is, God, this villain sucks.
Acting director Tyler Hayward, played by Josh Stamberg.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. It's so bad, we can't even remember what his name was.
He's so bad. Dane DeHaan in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was better as a villain than him.
Damn, dude. sort of the wham moment, the moment where the show just hits its creative and plotline peak, was where Agatha is revealed as a witch named Agatha Harkness. And everything that was happening to everyone in Westview, Wanda and Vision included, they wrote a song about it.
Yeah.
It was Agatha all along.
We won't play because we don't want to get copyright striked.
But suffice it to say, she sent fake Quicksilver and she killed the dog. Oh, and I killed the dog too.
But the finale, let's just get this out of the way. It was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically okay.
Hey, let's fool people into thinking, hey, we're bringing the X-Men Quicksilver into WandaVision, and you could have possibly made people excited about the whole thing with the multiverse. But nope, we're gonna do a joke. Remember back in 2019, Chico, when Sony and Marvel were fighting over the Spider-Man rights, and Sony was saying, you know what, we think Kevin Feige is, like, too busy with all these projects to pay attention to what's going on. I'm starting to think maybe Sony had a point.
Yeah. Because, I don't know if you mentioned this, but Quicksilver is not Wanda's brother. Evan Peters was playing a guy named Ralph Bonner.
Let's just completely waste Evan Peters in this show. Let's not even tease him that he's Mephisto. Nope. Let's f*** everybody just so we can jerk each other off.
The timeline! The timeline! The timeline!
Between that and the twist with Taskmaster and Black Widow, Jack Schaefer's writing is on par with some of the crappy episodes of Twin Peaks Season 2 after Laura's killer was revealed.
Good God, I'm going to have to do a bunch of censoring.
It was that annoying of an ending, Mike.
It was that crappy. Oh, and also, Monica Rambeau is the dumbest fucking character in history.
Explain how, because...
We talked about it, Chico. She said to Wanda, oh, these people in Westview who you mind-effed the whole series, they won't understand what you sacrificed for them. You're an idiot.
So it's like, either they do understand or they don't understand and they don't care. It's like, this lady mind-raped me for like 7 episodes. What the hell?
Basically, the only reason Monica Rambeau of the characters in this show is so that they cannot bother to explain her origin in Captain Marvel 2. That's the only reason why she's in this show. She was a completely pointless character.
By the way, speaking of, she's actually informed by a scroll in the end that a friend of her mother's, that is, the mother who previously met
in Captain Marvel 1.
Captain Marvel 1 wants to meet
her. It's Nick Fury.
Which I guess puts the seed in New Avengers or Young Avengers or Anti-Avengers or whatever Avengers they're planning on for the rest of the...
Whatever. I did not care for this. The fact that this was the first thing in the MCU in 18 months... and we got that. Just ticked me off. And I know, Chico, we talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Which, conversely, is amazing.
Yeah. But the finale, a lot of people had problems with. But you know what? I thought, compared to WandaVision, it was so much better.
If you had a problem with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale, I'm sorry. You just have a problem with life.
Yeah. I think most of the finale had to do with the post-credits scene in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I'm just going by the theory that Sharon Carter is a Skrull, so...
Me too. Are we right? Are we wrong?
Who knows? Mike doesn't know what we're talking about, so whatever.
That's okay. You know what? That's okay.
That's okay. Oh, speaking of horrible disappointments on streaming services.
Okay, so
And wait. And also speaking of things that I don't give a darn about.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about the most disappointing animation to live action adaptation on television in 2021. But I would be invoking my sister's wrath if I did not bring up the Loud House Christmas. So there's that. However, there is one that's worse than even that. The Netflix version of Cowboy Bebop. Which, you know, in retrospect, I should have just looked at the trailers and thought, because you looked at the trailers, those were some awesome looking trailers. I mean, those were absolutely killer looking trailers. I should have known that that was as good as the show was gonna get. And the thing of it is, the show wasn't necessarily bad, not like bad like in last episode of WandaVision bad. The thing of it is, it was faithful to a fault. I mean, when Westworld aired on HBO, they made a point to separate it from the source material. Cowboy Bebop made no such effort.
Wow.
I mean, they basically tried to stay as close to the source material as they could without doing much to grow any of the characters or any of the situations. I'm thinking to myself, you know, if I wanted to watch this, I would just watch the anime again. Because I don't know if either of you have seen the original animated series.
I've never seen it.
It is a damn good animated series. It is classic.
That's what
It's
people tell me.
absolutely classic. You need to take like half your day out, because all 26 episodes of the original animated series are now on Netflix.
Okay, well, I don't have Netflix anymore, so...
Okay, well, there you go. Well, it's like, save yourself the trouble. You know, and the thing of it is, this cast was an amazing cast. John Cho, Mustafa Shakir, Daniela Pineda. Just an amazing cast.
That's what disappointed me, because I like John Cho.
I know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this means we'll get Harold and Kumar 4 eventually. I can only dream. We're long overdue for a new Harold and Kumar movie.
Like, hey, is Kal Penn doing anything? No, he did. Oh, he did that show on Food Network that nobody remembers.
I'd say something else, but I'm not going to.
Well, I guess that means we go under our next topic, and this one I think we can file under desperation moves by big celebrities. This is a total WTF move, if there ever was one. And what I'm talking about is this year, there's been a proliferation of ads for Slotomania, which is an app which basically simulates playing slot machines.
It's a slot machine game app, yeah.
Yeah, and I used to play it. Admittedly, it was like 6 or 7 years ago on Facebook, but so they got a celebrity, and this celebrity portrays a finger in these ads.
He portrays a thumb.
He portrays a thumb, yeah. And I want to know how desperate John Goodman was to take this. They must have given him a lot of money. John Goodman plays the thumb, the finger, in these ads that's like swiping and hitting the touch screen and whatnot. And they're just, first off, creepy ads, bizarre ads.
They are really creepy.
It really, what it reminds me of, and we could make a tie into the Hulk Hogan commercials that we talked about a while ago. When you have like a Japanese commercial that all of a sudden has some random celebrity on it, Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Hulk Hogan, what the heck are they doing in a Japanese commercial? That's sort of what this reminds me of. What the heck is John Goodman doing promoting this? I mean, did the money dry up? Was he that desperate? Is he not getting paid enough to do the Connors? It's just so weird and bizarre.
Are the royalty checks from Roseanne not arriving on time lately? I don't know.
Maybe somebody wanted some cheese on their burger. I don't know.
It's just one of those things that might be one of the weirdest career moves. Now, admittedly, it wasn't a full-time career move because he still has the Connors and whatnot. But still, it's like of all the gigs, they gave you that much money or they enticed you that much to be in that? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I know.
Well, money talks. You know what they say.
Hey, I mentioned Dr. Oz was not the second most problematic Jeopardy host in 2021.
Oh,
so let's talk about him right now.
Well, no. The most problematic Jeopardy host is who we mentioned earlier. This would be probably the third most problematic.
No, I said no. Dr. Oz is the third most problematic.
Okay,
This is the
and
second.
the thing of it is,
Okay, I
wasn't
got it.
problematic when he started. He became problematic.
Later.
Yeah. Of course, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Relax. I'm not vaccinated. I'm immunized.
Oh, and we're talking about the terrible interview he gave to Pat McAfee that had the internet just go absolutely nuts.
Nope.
Like, what the hell? I'll tell you a true story, okay? Now, I saw the news break the day before. I was coming home from work the next day. I decided to take a nap at 1 p.m. after I was done with my shift. And I thought, I'll take a nap. Surely nothing is going to happen in the next 2 hours while I take a nap. And then 2 hours later, I wake up and I see a bunch of messages on my phone saying, Aaron Rodgers did what? He said what? It was like, dude, like, oh, I get my medical advice from Joe Rogan. What? What?
Who gets advice of any kind from Joe Rogan? Who?
Thank you. Yes.
And you know the sad part is the sad part is he's also the least problematic quarterback with questionable health practices in the NFC.
Oh, jeez.
Do I even want to know what? You know what? I don't want to know. I do not want to know.
You know who Greg's talking about. He's only been talking about this guy for like 20 years.
Yeah, I know.
The number 12 down in Tampa.
I know.
In case I had to spell it out for you.
I know.
Are you going to spell that out with syringes, Mike?
Oh! Good night, everybody!
Yeah, and whenever there's an O or an A, I'm going to use the deflated football. Sort of shape it in a circular form. We're talking about Tom Brady.
Hey, I've managed to deflate this show pretty much. Do you want me to deflate this show even more by segueing into a Dan Schneider joke?
Oh, no.
Because, Chico, we're going into our final topic of this portion. And that is the Head of the Class reboot on HBO Max, coming and going after one season.
Yep. Well, I can tell you where they have the problem. Isabella Gomez, as good of an actor as she is, looks like one of the students.
Yes.
The problem is, she's a teacher. And this was, 2 or 3 years after One Day at a Time? Which, by the way, should never have gotten canceled. What the hell were you thinking, Pop?
Yeah, come on.
And we're supposed to believe her as a teacher. She's the most believable, grown-up, kitty-looking grown-up since Johnny Depp on 21 Jump Street. Or David Cassidy, Man Undercover.
Future entry David Cassidy, Man Undercover.
Meanwhile, the students are no better. We have a caricature, another caricature, another caricature. Oh yeah, and another caricature.
So you mean it's pretty much like the original show then?
Well,
But the original show, though, was good.
yeah.
But they were very stereotypical caricatures, essentially.
But it was the 80s.
I know it was a different time, less PC and all that, but yeah, well, what are you gonna do? But
Yeah.
also, I mean, just in my mind, if I'm looking at 80s / early 90s shows to reboot, is Head of the Class necessarily even in the top quarter of the list? Probably
No.
not.
No.
No.
It was a good show, but I mean, it's not like...
It's not one people vividly remember. Let's say like Perfect Strangers.
Oh,
Everybody loves
Yeah,
Perfect
it's like
Strangers.
the only thing that Head of the Class, well, one of the only things, there's like, 3 things that Head of the Class, the original, will be remembered for. 1, the Moscow episodes.
Mm-hmm.
2, Robin Givens.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. And 3,
He can't say it!
the 3-headed monster that is Brian Robbins, Dan Frischman,
And the last one!
and the last.
He can't say his name.
I can't.
I can do it if you want me to.
And Dan Schneider.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Hey, Chico! I couldn't... Chico! I could see that joke's coming so much you were hiding your feet in shame.
Good on everybody.
Because Dan Schneider has a foot
Yes,
fetish.
yes. We know.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, thank God that part of the show is over.
Yeah. Now we get to the more enlightening, the better part of television in 2021.
Yes.
And specifically, we're going to start with like the top TV stories of the past year in our opinions. Now, again, we may not necessarily cover everything, but definitely the creep factor is extremely low in this segment compared to what we've just dealt with for the last like 45 minutes or so.
Yeah. Well, we start, of course, with Jeopardy, this being the season of the Super Champ. Because I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but do you know the number of shows so far this season that have not had a streaker playing somehow involved?
Like less than
Are you
5.
talking about since? Yeah, are you talking about since the season began?
Since the season began, yes.
Oh, it's a low number. It's like 4 or 5.
It's 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the other shows either had Madame Odio, Jonathan Fisher, Andrew He, and current reigning defending champion Amy Schneider.
As of the time we're recording this.
But let's just say Madame Odio came at a time when the show really needed something.
Yep.
Well, also, Madame Odio, he may have a weird claim to fame, because unless my math is wrong, or if I just don't remember correctly, he was champion with 6 different hosts.
Let's check J Archive right now and go to it. Live research, everybody. But let me just see. First couple shows were with Robin Roberts, then LeVar Burton, then David Faber, then Joe Buck. So let's see. That's 1,
4
2.
so far.
That's 4, and then Mike Richards is 5.
Mike Richards is 5, and then Ken.
10.
And then
yeah.
Ken is 6. And then, actually...
Did he go to
Yeah.
Miami?
Yeah, we went with Mayim, then we went with Ken.
Okay, so
So 7?
So, Madame Odio played No,
No, Maya.
He never played with Ken Jennings.
Okay,
He never played with Ken Jennings.
Okay, so
Oh.
that's 6.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Ken's first episode was November 8th.
Okay. Well, you show me any other champ on any other show anywhere in the universe who plays under 6 different hosts. Just not happening.
Nope.
I think that's amazing. But also that shows us how wacky the post Trebek search was.
Yeah. I mean, what? Hey, talk about 6 people who have never been in my kitchen, huh?
Well, if you watch them from your kitchen, they've all been in your kitchen. That makes sense, right? Okay.
But also it brings up an interesting scenario, because what happens in the next Tournament of Champions? Because technically, what do you have right now? 5 people have qualified?
We have 10 people who've qualified since the last Tournament of Champions.
Okay, all right, that's a little bit better, but still, I mean, are we going to have 5 more 5-time champions in the next however long it's going to be?
Well, we're going to have the college winner, obviously.
Okay, the college winner, all right.
Is the Professor's Tournament winner going to count?
Well, yeah.
Professor's Tournament winner does count.
Yeah, I included that in the count, yeah. This may be one of those weird situations where maybe they'll have to go to 4-game winners or even 3-game winners. Well, they did that last year or the last tournament with the person who ended up beating James with Emma Betcher. Yeah. Because she only won 3 games.
Yep. So it's one of those things where, Jeopardy could invite whoever, wherever, at their leisure. So it's going to be an interesting watch whenever it happens. God, please let this happen soon.
But also, I'm not going to discount the Professor's champion. He was good.
He was good.
He was very dominant.
He was. And he looks like Steve Martin.
Oh, he looks so much like Steve Martin. And now I'm waiting for, when he returns for the Tournament of Champions, for a Steve Martin walk-on.
I was thinking you'd say, now I'm hoping that the next qualifier for the Tournament of Champions is going to look like Selena Gomez.
No. But to bring this full circle, let's also remember that Steve Martin hosted Jeopardy 1999 on SNL.
He did.
He did, yes.
Yeah.
Everybody with the white afros.
What is Baba Black Sheep?
Anyway, moving on. Speaking of must-see events of the last year, if you were looking forward to, let's say, In the Heights, Tom and Jerry, Mortal Kombat, The Matrix, King Richard,
Space Jam 2,
Space Jam 2, and you didn't feel like going anywhere, HBO's got you.
That's right.
Because they had a full year where they decided, you know what? We're going to put everything in the movie theater and we're going to put it on HBO Max as well.
Yep. Well, I did see 2 Warner Brothers movies in the theater this year. I did see In the Heights in the theater, and that was great.
I loved In the Heights.
Yes, and I saw The Suicide Squad. That was also great.
I loved The Suicide Squad.
But the best part was, you know what? I want to rewatch the movie. Oh, I can just turn on HBO Max right now and watch The Suicide Squad.
Now and rewatch it.
I can rewatch The Suicide Squad for the next few weeks before it expires.
Yep. And nobody can say boo about it.
Yeah. At least you could watch it for free. With Disney Plus, you had to pay $30 to watch Black Widow again.
Yeah. Okay, true story. They do the dive-in movies when on the Carnival cruise ships, and I was on the Carnival cruise ship. Our first dive-in movie was Black Widow.
Oh, really? They had it already?
They had it already.
Well, the movie was sitting on a shelf for a year. They were like, well, we have to get this movie out to the cruise ships now, because God knows the cruise ships need some kind of entertainment.
True. Although, to bring it back to the MCU, we knew we were going to see Yelena sometime during Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Florence Pugh, she was so adorable.
She's a cute little killer.
Kate Bishop.
Why are you saying my full name like I'm supposed to know who you are? That's funny, Kate Bishop.
But also the big story with HBO Max in 2021 didn't involve any of those movies from Warner Brothers. It involved a 4-year-old movie getting a completely new cut.
That would be Zack Snyder's Justice League cut.
Yes. Everyone for the last 4 years on the internet was like, release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. Well, they finally gave you the Snyder Cut in 4 hours and in glorious 133:1 aspect ratio.
As it was meant to be. Or, something.
On like an IMAX screen, but let's be honest, you could watch it on an 80s big screen TV and you could say, that's the way it was meant to be seen, baby.
Yep. And I'll tell you right now, if you don't have HBO Max, guess what's coming on Blu-ray, son?
What's coming on Blu-ray?
The Zack Snyder Justice League cut.
That's right, I got it in 4K Ultra HD, baby. I got it for $15.99 on Amazon.
Yep. And it's in glorious 4:3 ratio, baby.
Just
the way God intended it.
The way Zack Snyder wanted it. You can get to watch Jason Momoa just throw down that beer can while the water's coming over him anytime you want. And it's so glorious in 4K, baby. Boom! Throw that glass bottle.
Boom! And while we're on shows that aired in 4:3, the way God intended, we had a bit of a changeover. Remember, for the longest time, I guess Adult Swim was instrumental in bringing Family Guy back to television.
It was very, yeah.
It was like DVDs and Adult Swim airings. They found an audience, and Fox was like, you know what? Let's bring Family Guy back and see what happens. It's still going on today. This year, Family Guy made the jump from Adult Swim and the Warner Brothers family to FXX and Freeform. I believe it joins The Simpsons on FXX and joins nothing in particular on Freeform. What the hell?
Well, the thing is, they're both Disney properties, and now Family Guy's a Disney property.
That is correct.
Well, also, FXX, I think, is starting to make itself into an animation network because they air King of the Hill, they air Futurama, they air The Cleveland Show, they have their own original show, Cake, they have Archer. They have everything, it seems. And I think even they have ads touting like wall-to-wall animation from no later than noon till 4 a.m. every day. So that's 16 hours.
So basically animation nominations now on FXX.
Well, I don't think they have Bob's Burgers. They have newer reruns of Bob's Burgers, not the first, probably, I'm guessing, 8 or 9 seasons. But they show like the last 1 or 2 seasons.
The first few seasons are still on Adult Swim.
For now.
For now.
Because they're moving.
Okay. So pretty much Disney will have their entire Fox vintage lineup all on FXX.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And actually, right now, as we record this, FXX is actually showing all the Family Guy episodes from now until New Year's Day. And I think it's a 24/7 marathon. There's no paid programming in the dead of night.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, they did that with The Simpsons when they first got it.
Yeah.
If you remember, they had for what, 10, 14 days,
Every
wall-to-wall Simpsons. And I think they started it or at least ended it with the Simpsons movie. Yeah, they're doing something similar now with Family Guy.
FXX, the new home of Family Guy, but Adult Swim will always have the memories. Watching Family Guy reruns in 2004 at midnight.
In beautiful 4:3 ratio.
Zack Snyder
just like Zack Snyder wanted. Hey, speaking of cartoons, it's sort of cartoony.
It's cartoonish.
It's cartoonish. It's cartoon adjacent. Let's talk about a cartoony thing from 20 to 25 years ago that really set the internet ablaze. This is back in about September-ish?
Yeah.
August-ish? Yeah. So everybody of a certain age remembers Blue's Clues.
Oh, yeah.
And the internet lost its collective poop when Steve, the original Steve, came back and posted a video basically saying, I miss you. It's been a long time. Hey, you're looking pretty good. Hey, you've got kids. How's the family doing? And the internet lost it.
Internet lost its complete... And you know what? For good reason. It seems like we all grew up with the reassuring voice of Steve Burns asking where his puppy is.
It's right over there, stupid! It's in the tree!
It's in the tree!
That's what I said in every episode. Steve, it's in the damn tree! Just look behind you!
And when he sort of left, it's sort of like... It was this big freaking thing. When he left the show, all of a sudden it just became this really, really big thing. And nobody knew how big it was going to be until it happened. And now here's Steve coming back, and all of a sudden it's like... All the feels came out for that one. I'm sorry. All the feels came out for that one.
And he's 48 years old, and he still looks like he's 22.
Except now he's bald.
Well, people can shave their heads, but still, it's like time has stood still. He doesn't age.
Just like me, I haven't aged a day since 1994. I could probably still pass for the under 12 promotions at Citi Field if I tried.
Do you really want a Mrs. Met bobblehead that badly?
Tell you what, a Mrs. Met bobblehead would look pretty damn good on my shelf.
Oh,
Next to the Max Scherzer bobblehead I'll probably get next year.
Oh, yeah, and invariably that's going to happen.
Okay, so next, Chico. Oh, the activist.
Oh, my.
Can we explain what this was about?
Someone's got to explain to me what this is about. Hold on. The activist was... Oh, God. So, the activist was this sort of reality show where it was... They were going to find the... they were going to find out who could be the biggest viral activist on television. Yeah. People did not take kindly to that. In fact, this was greenlit over the course of the summer, right?
Yeah.
It was going to be this big thing with Julianne Hough, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, and Usher as judges.
Who are three people that have never been in my kitchen? I would love to have Usher in my kitchen.
You would love to have Usher in your kitchen?
Yes.
He would teach you how to, do the 1-2 step sort of thing?
Yeah, I would love to have him teach me how to dance.
Okay, so they were going to act like these judges on this thing. And then the internet had a collective meltdown, including an apology from one of the hosts. And in September, they announced, you know what, we're going to reformat the show, we're going to drop the competitive elements, and this is going to be a documentary instead of an actual competition. In fact, I got a quote here. It has become, this is CBS in a statement. It has become apparent that the format of the show is announced to distract from the vital work these incredible activists do in their communities every day. And then Global Citizen came out with its own, because Global Citizen was behind this, came out with its own sort of spiel. They said, global activism centers on collaboration and cooperation, not competition. We apologize to the activists, hosts, and the larger activist community. We got it wrong. It is our responsibility to use this platform in the most effective way to realize change and to elevate the incredible activists dedicating their lives to the progress around the world. They declined to comment further. So, yeah, they're not, it's like, I'm wondering if they're even going to,
Hear this?
like, are they even going to air this?
Probably not.
They're probably gonna, if it were, they're probably gonna slide it on Paramount Plus and hope that nobody notices.
Yeah. Just like how nobody noticed $1 Million Miles last episode. Am I right, Mike?
Well, now hold on a second. Do you remember? I think I was one of the few people who's like, "Hey, it's on CBS Sports Network." It did air or burn off on CBS Sports
Are
Network.
we talking about $1 Million Mile? Because that aired on the network proper too.
Yeah.
It did air on the proper network proper, but it got burned off on CBS Sports Network.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about that at some point because Tim Tebow, almost as dislikable as Tom Brady in these parts.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know Urban Meyer's run as the Jaguars was going to be so terrible when he couldn't even block as a tight end.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Why did he think he'd be a tight end?
Why do you think he could be a minor league baseball player with the Mets?
But at least he got, 2 or 3 seasons out of that.
Yeah.
The only reason
That's
he got
true.
2 or 3 seasons out of that because he was buds with Cespedes. That was it. That's the only reason why they had to keep him for 2 to 3 years. We don't want to upset you when it's Cespedes. Then as soon as he left, it was like Steve Cohen's first job was, okay, we're done with you. All right. Well, forget about that guy. Let's now talk about something fun, Chico. Let's talk about the Baron Zemo dance. Just pump your fist. Just do that. And then just do a
That's
little...
all you need to do.
Just do the...
That's all you need to do.
Yeah, just pump your fist. While dancing at a club.
While waiting for Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes.
I gotta say, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I said this when we talked about it Into the Spideyverse about Spider-Man Homecoming, when we were talking about Civil War. Good movie, but I did not care for Baron Zemo. Now, after watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I love Baron Zemo. I completely love him now. Especially his butler guy who we talked about in one episode.
Yeah, because, as we all know, the butler guy, he made that show. No.
He did. He was the real star of the show. Baron Zemo's butler.
But now that we've completely lost Mike here, let's get back to, reboots are still a hot commodity in Hollywood, and the granddaddy of them all is getting a reboot on NBC next year, and that would be the original Law & Order.
Dun dun! Well, why not revive Law and Order? I mean, SVU's still going strong. They have that new Law and Order organized crime show. So it's like, why not bring back the original?
Yep, and I'll tell you who's coming back in the original. We have... Who is coming back in the original? From the original?
I have no idea.
All we know is that it's coming out early next year.
Yeah.
And more specifically, February 24th.
Ooh, can't wait.
Yep. We know who's joining the cast, but she's not necessarily one of the originals. She's Cameron Manheim. She's joining...
Yes! I'm so excited for that.
She takes up the S. Apatha Murkison role as a lieutenant in the NYPD, although she is Kate Dixon, whereas Apatha Murkison was Lieutenant Anita Van Buren. And other new cast members are joining are Jeffrey Donovan and Hugh Dancy. Sam Waterston and Anthony Anderson are returning.
Oh, that's good. Well, because Blackish is ending, so of course Anthony Anderson's going to be back on this.
Yes, he's going to be taping this, when he's not taping To Tell the Truth with his mama.
Yes.
Because his mama makes that show.
His mama does make that show. And I'll tell you this, Law and Order coming back, it's a great day to be a theater actor in New York City when Law and Order is back.
Yep. That will make your career, my friend.
Yep. Just like how Wings made Tony Shalhoub's career. But
You wanted to get that one more time, didn't you?
Yes, one more time in 2021. But okay, now on to a serious story. Brian Williams leaving NBC this year.
But where is he going?
No one knows yet. He's going to take like a little break and sort things out before he plots his next move. Some speculation I've heard is maybe he'll join the new CNN Plus app that's coming out, because I know that Chris Wallace is joining the CNN Plus app since he just left Fox News. So
yep,
they're trying to get big names for that CNN Plus. So I don't know how many people are going to sign up for that, but Brian Williams, I mean, for the last couple years after, we all know what happened with him, how he got taken off the NBC Nightly News, and we're not that type of show, but you all know why he got taken off NBC Nightly News in 2015. But for the last couple years, he's been doing his 11 p.m. show on MSNBC, and it was a pretty solid, recap of the day's news and events, and let's just say a very tumultuous time when we needed some good, news, a reassuring voice in troubling times, let's say.
We need 100% of the news, 0% of the BS.
It's sad that he's no longer going to be there at 11 p.m. because I always love to hear him, talk about the day's events, digest it in a simple way, go to bed, next day happens. There you go. But best of luck to Brian wherever he goes.
Indeed.
All right.
Meanwhile, while we're talking about things jumping from one network to another one, the NBC has lost the NHL to ESPN and TNT. That's right. The ESPN is talking about the NHL again.
Well, at least Barry Melrose has something to do again.
Hey, as long as John Forsland still has work.
Yeah. But you know what? NBC, I think, for the last 15 years, I think they did a very good job with the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
They were like the keepers of the sport for the last 15 years. And I gotta say, the NHL on NBC theme music, everyone loves the NHL on ESPN music. And I gotta say, it's great to have that theme song back. But I think the NHL on NBC theme music was just as iconic as Round Ball Rock.
Oh! Dude.
That may be a debate we don't want to get into at this point.
Yeah. Well, while we're on ESPN, though, who the hell is Bishop Sycamore, and how the hell did he get on ESPN?
That was the question in September that we were trying to figure out. What the hell is Bishop Sycamore? Now, me and Chico talked about this at length on a special episode of It Was a Thing on TV Presents, back when this story broke. But, Mike, you weren't here about this. So, Mike, this happened in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, this is in Ohio, specifically in Columbus. I've never heard of this school before this turmoil happened. And actually, within the last couple of weeks, the state of Ohio, I'm guessing like the Attorney General or somebody big in the state, determined that it was just a giant scam. Go figure.
Duh.
Well, yeah, duh. But I think the bigger question is not necessarily who is Bishop Sycamore, but more like how did they just totally bamboozle ESPN to get in a game televised on ESPN against IMG Academy, which is probably one of the top schools in the country for sports, period, not just for football.
Oh, yeah.
And supposedly, like, there's some players that were either had graduated high school or were not high school graduates. They're like 22 years old. I mean, this is almost comical. And but yeah, somehow they got on ESPN and they got their butts handed to them. I don't remember the final score. I
got the final score.
Well, I know Bishop Sycamore had 0.
58-0.
And I mean, honestly, that could be any game against IMG Academy because they are the best of the best. They are your future NFL players.
Yeah, IMG Academy is basically,
it's basically an academy where they prepare their students to make the jump to pro sports. They're the ones who end up going to your big D1 programs, your Ohio States, or your Floridas, or your Alabamas for football. For basketball, your North Carolinas, your the school that shouldn't be named. You know who I'm talking about. But those types, Gonzaga's, again, even Ohio State, you could say there. So yeah, it's amazing that somebody high up at ESPN dropped the ball, but also it's kind of amazing that somebody with Bishop Sycamore convinced them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one heck of a scam that you're trying to sell. If you've got people from ESPN and they call you back I don't know if they had some sort of letterhead or how the entire scam went, or scheme, I should say. It was a scam, but it was a
scheme.
Well, but
tomato.
Yeah, how extensively did they do this? But yeah, it's just one of those really bizarre question marks from the year in not just television, but also sports. And it was a big black eye to ESPN.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the worldwide leader in sports. So you'd think they'd know their stuff about Bishop Sycamore when, nope, they knew as much as we did.
Zilch.
Maybe even less.
Nada. Well, another big sports story in television in 2021 was kind of a surprising firing, and it broke, actually, I think, while we were taping an episode. But TSN broke up the longtime partnership of Jay Onrait and Dan O'Toole by firing Dan O'Toole.
Which just came as an absolute shock to me, because those two were as inseparable as peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I know. I was like, it just boggled me. It's like, if you're going to fire, like, shouldn't you fire both of them?
Well, and also remember, they were so good, so big, that they actually hosted a sports recap show on Fox Sports 1 when that launched like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
But
Fox
before
Sports
it
Live.
became absolutely unwatchable.
Before it became absolute crap. They were basically the only reasons to watch FS1.
Regis Philbin Online won.
Well, that was the first year. And Katie Nolan, I guess.
Well, but also they had roller games. I think that was more Fox Sports 2, but it aired on Fox Sports 1. And also, they do have like the Saturday night baseball game of the week, which I don't mind watching.
No.
But yeah, other than that, and I will give Fox Sports 2 credit. They do show Aussie Rules football on late night Fridays and Saturdays during that season.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, besides that, I don't really watch either of those networks. And we're talking about like this glut of sports networks. And well, we're going to talk about it a little bit later about a certain casualty that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, my sports watching primarily is occasionally ESPN, but primarily I catch the hometown teams on the Bally Sports networks.
Yep.
You catch your Guardians on Bally Sports Great Lakes, and you catch your Blue Jackets and Cavs on Bally Sports Ohio.
You have 2 Bally Sports where you live?
Yeah, because you got to remember, we have, I'm going back 30 plus years to the Sports Channel days. That evolved over the years to the different Fox Sports Net and Fox Sports Ohio. But then in 2005...
Oh, the Indians had Sports Time Ohio.
Sports Time Ohio came, right. And then and then they got bought by Fox. I want to say it was maybe about 3 years ago or so. So they got into the Fox family at that point. They kept the name Sports Time Ohio. But when the Bally's purchase went down, it became Bally Sports Great Lakes, and Fox Sports Ohio became Bally Sports Ohio.
Yeah, we had a sort of a similar situation where we had Sports South, and when that was bought out by Fox, it became Fox Sports South, and then FSN South, and then it sort of splintered off into Fox Sports Carolinas, and now it's Bally? Now it's back to being Bally Sports South now?
It's something like that. And it's something like that. And that's actually another story we're going to cover for one of the top stories of this year is the Fox Sports regional networks becoming Bally Sports. Primarily because Bally's wants a big chunk of sports, not just showing sports, but
betting on sports.
That's the big one.
Gambling money.
That's where the money's made. And the thing is, if you watch anything, yeah, and if you watch anything nowadays on Bally Sports or even ESPN2, they show all the lines, they show all the over-unders, they show all the odds and probabilities of different bets happening, individual games, and also who may win the big game this year or who may win the World Series. It's a big business now. And unfortunately, something I heard many years ago is becoming true, and that's sports really is made for the degenerate gambling community.
Now
I mean, if you look at it, they wouldn't be showing all these over-unders and lines and whatnot if they weren't trying to attract that gambler. Yeah, and the thing is, I'm one of those innocent/naive types who, they can't gamble on sports because it's not going to be legal in Ohio till 2023. But it just sort of sickens me to see this. It's sort of, I don't know, maybe it's my...
There's no credibility now for any of these networks.
Well, beyond that, it just sort of tampers with the natural being of sports, just for the fun of the game and whatnot. No, it's now, everybody's profiting off of it, and I don't like it.
Even people like Adam Schefter are now being compromised by gambling sites. There's no objectivity anymore.
No.
Yeah, you're right.
Which scares me because what if we have another Black Sox situation in sports? Like, who's going to be credible on this topic? Nobody.
Well, let's clean our hands of that topic. We're talking about sports and then diverting into gambling.
Well, one thing I want to mention about Bally Sports before we move on, I do like their ticker.
The ticker's great. The ticker is great. I got to give you credit there. Yes.
They do have a nice ticker.
But another big story, we talked about Family Guy reruns moving elsewhere. The reruns of Seinfeld moved from TBS and Hulu to Comedy Central and Netflix.
So TBS is basically bleeding content at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, what do they have? I guess the only thing they have left are reruns of Rick and Morty. I don't know.
No, they got Friends.
Well, Comedy Central, I think, now has Friends also.
No.
Well, Nick at Night has always had Friends.
No, TBS still has Friends as far as I know, and they have like George Lopez. Yeah, it's not the good old days. They lost a lot of their good shows they had over the last 10 years or so. But I mean, they still do have like American Dad, and we mentioned the Bob's Burgers reruns earlier. They show that with some regularity. But yeah, they did lose a number of big shows this year, and we'll talk about one of them when we get to the shows that ended in 2021. A very big show that ended in 2021.
But I will say, one thing I've noticed, because I have been catching a lot of the Seinfeld reruns on Comedy Central, and I know they recently did like a I think Sony or somebody did like a big remastering on all the episodes, and you can tell, like, oh my god, it looks like amazing.
So good.
They're so beautiful. Good. Oh yes.
You could not tell that it was filmed like 25 years ago. It's so insane. It looks like it was shot yesterday. But it's amazing how it's still more popular than ever now. Especially now that it's on Netflix. All right. But, Chico, a big story in 2021.
Yep. Okay, so we're getting a new doctor. We're also getting a new executive producer. But not a new executive producer. It's going to be an old executive producer because Russell T. Davies, the man who ushered in Doctor Who for the Common Era, is coming back to take his roost. So far, that's all we know about what's going on with Doctor Who in 2022.
But in 2023 is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, and I know, according to reports, Russell T. Davies is planning a special event revolving around the 60th anniversary, so that'll be exciting. You have a new Doctor, and you're going to have a big anniversary event. What a way to introduce a new Doctor.
Oh, yeah. I still remember the 50th anniversary where we were kind of sort of introduced to Old Grumpy Eyes.
Old Grumpy John Hurt.
No, the other Old Grumpy Eyes.
Oh, Capaldi.
Yep. It's like, just by look. All 12 of them. No, sir. 13.
And it's just Peter Capaldi's eyes. That's all you needed.
Or his old beady eyes.
Peter Capaldi's old beady eyes and that one tease. That was it.
That was it. I was like, that's it. I am dead. I am deceased.
But remember, we also got that great scene with Matt Smith and Tom Baker as the curator.
Oh yes. Wonderful. Oh, that was great.
That was so wonderful.
Oh yes.
And they left it so ambiguous. It's like, was that really the Doctor? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who
knows?
Okay, now you guys are getting me excited about what might be coming up in 2023 with the new Doctor, and just how many old Doctors will make cameos on that transitional episode.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
because the Tom Baker one, that was amazing. Yeah. And I'm a very mild Doctor Who fan compared to you two, and I was blown away.
Well, you know what else blew us away in 2021? CBS All Access rebranding to Paramount Plus.
Yep. It's like this was sort of the side effect of the big deal between Viacom and CBS to remarry and share one big shared media universe. And Paramount Plus was going to be the culmination of that, and it still is. I have the Paramount Plus on my TV. I'll tell you right now, after watching so many live episodes of The Price is Right at work, it starts to pay for itself.
Well, I finally just got it. I actually got, yesterday for Christmas, I decided to give myself a 1-year annual premium subscription. So for $100, I got myself live streaming access to not only my local CBS channel, but I got everything ad-free.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so excited because next year on Paramount Plus, we're going to have, for the first time in glorious 4K, the Director's Edition, the extended cut of Star Trek The Motion Picture in 4K. Now, they only released this back in 2001 on DVD in regular plain-ass standard definition, and people have been wanting this in HD upgrade this for years and years, so Paramount was like, well, guys, next year you're finally going to get it in 4K, and we're going to completely remaster all the effects in the movie.
It's like, let me tell you something. You better Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut this shit, because 4K, you notice everything.
Oh, yeah. You notice everything.
So you need to step your game up.
That's right. Well, I can't wait to see all the glorious details of Voyager in 4K. It'll be amazing. All right. By the way, Voyager is a Voyager 6, by the way. It's a space probe from the Voyager system in the 1970s. I'm sorry I ruined a 40-year-old movie.
42.
Oh, that's right. Oh, no, 43 next year. It's going to be
43 now. Oh, okay, 43.
43 years old next year. And, Chico, we may or may not do a special episode about that next year. We probably will, so.
Probably will. Be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject of media mega mergers, Amazon buying MGM.
Who knew that one day Jeff Bezos would own the IP to Spaceballs?
That's the takeaway. Okay.
That was my big takeaway. Jeff Bezos now owns Spaceballs.
Well, I suppose it could be worse. It could be Martin Shkreli owning the Masters of Straight Outta Compton.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you made a former pro reference on this. Well, I made a Dan Schneider reference. Might as well make a former pro reference.
Now that was a real jerk move, by the way.
Well, also, Greg, you know what this means?
Oh, that means that maybe we'll have the possibility, as we mentioned before, of Hollywood Squares being on Buzzer.
Related, but not where I was going. Jeff Bezos also owns Malcolm.
That is true. He does own the Malcolm pilot now.
Yeah.
And by the way, if Jeff Bezos wanted to air Hollywood Squares, he had to get through CBS because they own the format.
Well, also, I'm sure at some point after they, figure out what they have, you got to figure it's going to end up on Amazon Prime sooner or later.
Oh, the original Hollywood Squares, yeah.
Well, I'm just talking about all the MGM stuff. Talking about American Gladiators, talking about Hollywood Squares.
Addams Family.
High Rollers from 1974 to 76 exists. So that would be just a total mind blower if, say, for the 50th anniversary of that show, that went up on Amazon Prime.
Survivor back when it was good.
That's true. They do own Survivor, although Survivor's streaming on CBS on Paramount Plus, right?
Yes.
It's also on Pluto TV, yeah.
You know what else is on Pluto TV?
What else is on Pluto TV?
Buzzer.
Oh, that's true.
And this is basically, 2021 is basically the year when Buzzer stepped its game up. See what I did there?
That is true. Buzzer
They
broke out in 2021.
Yep.
In multiple ways, yes.
Mm-hmm. One of the big ways they broke out, they found and remastered the entire run of
yeah.
That is the name of the show.
At least we think they have. because they've only aired about 60 episodes thus far. They've aired about half the civilian episodes, but they did show the pilots.
Yes.
And they, again, like I said, they showed the last probably about 60 episodes. They showed 1 through 7 minus the third, and they've shown 78 to the end of the civilian run, which is 133, I believe. But they did have a couple of skips, which we think are. Well, no, they got to about early November of 79. They did skip a number of episodes, presumably because PC stuff. But still, they have aired more than we would have ever expected. And also, for the 100th birthday of Betty White,
yes,
in January, they are going to be showing Celebrity Feud with Betty White.
Yep.
It's unknown if it's going to be the John Saxon episode.
I'm praying it is.
I'll take anything.
And here's the thing. You wouldn't think that people would clamor to watch episodes of a 41-year-old game show. But it became a really big hit in 2021 on Buzzer.
Oh, it was a big ratings winner for Buzzer. So I'm hoping right now that they're converting the rest of the episodes, at least the pre-celebrity run, so 1 through 78 or 8 through 77 or whatever you want to call it. So after they get through this rerun cycle in about 6 weeks, maybe come Valentine's Day, they'll be like, hey, here's episode 8. Here's episode 9. Here's episode, and we can actually see like the genesis of the show, the progression from maybe an awkward beginning to this is fun.
Yeah.
This is real fun.
And you can tell in the early episodes, like, it's a little awkward for Tom Kennedy at first, and then
he's trying to explain it as best he can. It's hard to explain off the top like that. I mean, that takes actual study and actual practice.
Effort. But he eventually mastered how this game works. And man, when this game is firing on all cylinders, it's a fun half hour to watch.
It is.
And now you know why I don't watch Tug of Words. I watch Few every day. Oh, I did see Tug of Words for the first time yesterday.
How was it?
It's not a bad little game.
I told you it wasn't that bad.
It's not that bad.
Ahmad is great on it.
You know what? I still, you know what? I like it. I still think Ahmad's greatest work, however, is the 1984 post Macy's Day Parade.
No, 85. The proposal.
85. Sorry,
the proposal to Felicia.
No,
Yes,
I think we talked about this. I think we said the Willowbait Inside Stuff era was the best work he ever did.
NBA Inside Stuff was his best work, definitely. Oh, and speaking of Buzzer, they not only got Few, they also got the Newlywed Game. The 90s version of the Newlywed Game on weeknights.
That's the 90s version, everything after season 2. Because nobody talks about season 1.
With Brad Sherwood, no.
No, with Gary Kroger.
Oh, because Brad Sherwood was Dating Game. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Well, hopefully, looking at a bigger picture, now that Buzzer has gotten their feet in the door with Sony, maybe down the line they'll get other Sony properties like $20,000 Pyramid, $25,000 Pyramid.
Joker's Wild.
Exactly. Stuff they own. Stuff that has been sitting dormant for basically 20 years.
Oh, God. That would be so great.
And Buzzer did talk about looking at spin-off channels in the upcoming year or so.
Yes.
So maybe there'll be a Buzzer 2. Maybe that'll be maybe just Fremantle stuff. And then on Buzzer proper, it'll be non-Fremantle properties. Who knows? But another big takeaway that we learned, besides the overwhelming success of Few and Buzzer as a whole, is the money they're generating off of Pluto TV.
Oh, they're making that Virgil breadstick money.
They're making real breadstick money. We're not talking any sort of cryptocurrency here. They're making real bread, not fake bread.
Not fake bread, real bread.
Cash.
And you know what? Pluto is basically Viacom CBS's license to print money.
It is.
And they have a channel for everybody. If you don't have Pluto TV...
I can tell you right now, I think I spent the entire month of November watching the Bar Rescue channel.
And I mean, they add channels like every month or so, usually about the first of the month. One that I found recently that I watch almost every night is Pluto Versus. Among the things on Pluto Versus, they do show American Gladiators. They show Hole in the Wall. They also show Unbeatable Banzuki, one of my favorite shows on G4 back in the day. This is probably about 14 years ago now. But also they show MXC reruns, like a 4-hour block every night.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Oh, it is so amazing. And also they do have every episode of MXC from all the seasons on demand.
Oh, that's great.
And actually, you know what? We're going to talk about something related to all this, specifically the Banzuki part we just talked about. G4 is back.
G4 is back, baby.
G4 is back, baby.
And it's back to its original state. And what I mean by that is no Cops reruns, no Cheaters reruns. It's your Attack of the Show, Kevin Pereira. They even show Starcade. So this is like G4, like the way it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The only issue right now, I think, is coverage. I know it's not here on Uverse, which is what I have.
No, it's not here either.
It's not here either. But,
It's gonna take
give
some
it
time.
Give it time.
As they say, call your local provider and say, hey, where's my G4? But that is, it's nice to see that back, especially since gamer culture and anime culture and stuff that G4 did really well. That's like really hip nowadays.
Yeah.
Plus it becomes relevant to stuff like esports.
Yeah, esports is like
esports
is the new hotness now.
Absolutely.
But you know what? I'm happy G4 is back, especially because one of my favorites, Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed, has a show on G4. So good for you, Xavier Woods. Hey, he's now the king of the ring in WWE, and now he's the king of G4. Good for you, Austin Creed.
Yep.
Okay. But, in 2021, we had a new show on Netflix come from South Korea, and it became the biggest hit of the year.
Oh, but yes. Squid Game. We're talking about Squid Game.
And everybody's talking about it. I mean, even my students, high school students, they're crazy over it.
Yep.
I don't have Netflix. I've seen little bits and pieces, but I could totally see myself getting into it if I ever got Netflix.
It's equal parts fascinating and morbid.
You know what's amazing is how they have the symbols of the PlayStation controller in the game on the show.
I know.
It's so weird. I'm
surprised Sony didn't have something to say about that.
Well, now, was it just the shapes, or did the shapes have the same colors?
It was just the shapes.
Just the shapes.
I think you can get away with it that way.
Yeah.
If they did have like a blue X and a red square, I think there might be a lawsuit.
Although, if they ever make a Squid Game video game, I think I know the platform it's going to be on. It's custom made for it. Hint, it's not Xbox.
Nintendo Switch, no.
No.
I could see it being on the Switch. Now, come on.
Yeah, I could probably see it too, but let's be honest. It just screams PlayStation. Big marketing opportunities right there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, but going from Squid Game, hey, we talked earlier this year about William Shatner being a rocket man. Well, guess what? It finally happened in real life.
Woo! Rocket Man.
William Shatner became a literal rocket man. He went up into space.
At 90 years old.
At 90 years old.
Does that make him the oldest person to go into space, or no?
I think that does, because John Glenn was like in his late 70s, wasn't he?
No, I think John Glenn was closer to 80 or so. But regardless, 90 definitely gets him in as the oldest in space. Now, admittedly, space, I'm guessing the definition is 55 miles above the Earth's atmosphere, which is technically space. It isn't what John Glenn did, which is actually go into outer space.
No.
Not to get all scientific.
Not to be a pedant about it,
But also, Shatner wasn't the only TV star to go into space this year.
Nope.
Oh, really?
Michael Strahan becomes the first football player / broadcaster / game show host to enter space.
No, because Shatner technically would be the first because he was on Show
But
Me the Money.
But was Shatner on the New York Giants, though?
That is true. William Shatner never won a Super Bowl with the Giants.
William Shatner never won a Super Bowl with the Giants. Thank you.
So the correlation we have here is that 100% of celebrities that have gone into space have also been game show hosts.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, there we go.
Are you guys not gonna mention that John Glenn was a contestant on Name That Tune? Why am I always having to do the heavy leg work for you bozos?
But 50% have been a captain of a starship.
And the other 50% won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, the other 50% are in the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton.
Hey, who's to say William Shatner might make the Hall of Fame in Canton for something? Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah,
Indeed.
I'm sorry. I could just see Joe Burrow after his record-setting game today. Hey, Joe, is there anything you'd like to tell your fans? Yeah. Rips off a mask. I'm actually William Shatner, bitches.
Oh,
so it's like William Shatner is basically Joe Burrow before he has a Snickers.
Jeez. Oh, hey, speaking of the NFL guys, let's segue into something that we thought when we heard about this was going to be like, this seems like the dumbest thing ever. This is so stupid.
And we did a live show on it. That's how stupid we thought it would be.
It turned out to be the most fun thing ever. And me, who has grown cynical and hates the NFL so much, was like, oh my God, if every NFL game was like this, maybe I'd still watch.
Well, it's coming back later this year in 2022.
With the same people involved.
That's right.
Well, for the most part. Okay, in terms of the people on screen delivering play-by-play and analysis, yes.
Yes. Noah Eagle. It's going to be Noah Eagle, Nate Burleson, and Gabrielle Nevaeh-Green.
Yeah, and Nate Burleson is on everything CBS Paramount related these days.
Yes, he is. But I was talking about the fact that we're probably not going to have Mitch Trubisky in it, and I don't think we're gonna have Jimmy Graham running for cover this time.
Oh no, Jimmy Graham.
If he just got slimed, this wouldn't have happened.
If he was just gotten virtually slimed, I know it was late in the game and the touchdown didn't mean anything. But come on, Jimmy, you should take your sliming like a man.
Do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids.
But the best part of that game was the MVP voting. And during the broadcast, I said, someone has to be rigging this vote because there's no way Mitchell Trubisky is the best player in the game. And then we found out that
somebody was indeed rigging the votes.
And it was PFT commenter rigging the vote.
Oh, boy.
So Mitchell Trubisky could be the MVP. And guess what? During training camp, there was a picture of PFT and Big Cat from Pardon My Take taking a picture of Mitchell Trubisky with the MVP award.
I've seen it, yes.
I've seen it. It is a thing that exists.
But, hey, Chico, you have to be proud. Your alma mater produced an MVP award winner.
My alma mater produced an MVP award-winning quarterback.
Hey, also, that MVP award-winning quarterback, he lives, I presume he lives here, at least his family still lives here, like 7 miles from here.
Oh. You know what?
Yeah, he's a Northeast Ohio boy.
Well, you know what? His hometown should have a plaque that says "Home of MVP Award winner Mitchell Trubisky."
I will bring that up to Mentor City Council next time I go to one of their meetings, which is probably never.
Okay. So, hey, a big story this year is, wow, Mark Horman is leaving NCIS.
Wow, but he's the face of the franchise. What are they going to do after that?
I have no idea. But, wow, he's been with that show since it started, and that's been on since 2003.
Yeah, remember NCIS was basically the spinoff of JAG, which was given a chance on NBC and failed. CBS picked it up and ran with it.
Yes. That was probably the worst move Warren Littlefield ever made.
Yeah.
And he's made some bad moves. But that had to be the worst because CBS got 2 franchises out of it. So, yeah. Well, Mark Horman, the face of that show. I don't know what they're going to do. Who they're going to... Have they announced a replacement for him yet?
I imagine it's somebody who was brought on, but I do not know who.
Yeah, because I don't watch NCIS, so I don't know.
I haven't heard anything.
So I guess we'll find out near.
Okay. Oh, all right. Wait. Hold on. We have this quote. It was Gary Cole.
Oh,
who spoke out after replacing him. He says he's not old. He's not as old school. He tries to get his hands on new tech gadgets. He's not trying to be Mark Harmon, though.
Okay, but Gary Cole, that's a good choice.
You know what? Gary Cole's a very versatile actor.
Yeah. You love Gary Cole, so.
Yep. Future installment, Midnight Caller. Hello.
Midnight Caller, yeah. American Gothic, I think, is also a future installment.
And of course, who can forget Harvey Birdman, attorney at law?
That's true. I'll take the case. All right. But hey, could you believe, guys, that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia became the longest running sitcom in U.S. TV history this year?
Wow. And much deserved, I must say.
Yes.
It's like It's Always Sunny is basically to Americans what Letterkenny is to Canadians.
I never thought I'd ever hear It's Always Sunny compared to Letterkenny. But okay.
Yeah, it's long running, it's slice of life, it's absurdist, and it's absolutely freakishly popular.
And the one thing I love about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and this is the best part, is the longer it goes and the older the characters get, the more pathetic they get. And that's what makes it even more funnier, is the older they get, the more pathetic they are. That they're the same.
Yep. Just like real life, the older we get, the more pathetic we become. It's like all of a sudden we realize how pathetic we become, and then we become more pathetic.
But the best episode I thought this season was the episode where the flashback when they were at the roller rink, and you got to see like the origin stories for Sweet D and basically Dennis.
Right?
Realizing Dennis basically becoming the pervert he became because he watched his dad have sex with some whore.
That's basically how it happens, yes.
And you see, my big takeaway was Mac and his killer Hornet starter jacket.
Oh, yeah. That Charlotte Hornets jacket was awesome.
I love that. And, I think my brother had that jacket in high school.
Now take that jacket off, dude. How many times do I have to tell you can't wear street clothes at work?
What you talking about, man? This jacket's fat as hell.
It may be fat, but you're not supposed to wear it, all right? And you're not even repping Philly, dude.
Well, the Hornets have the coolest colors, man, and I gotta look fat, because I'm out there selling weed, and you gotta look fat if you're selling weed.
You know, I had a sweet Notre Dame starter jacket back at there at that same time, too, that my mom probably got at Bob's for one Christmas.
had an Orlando Magic jacket. I got at Apis for Christmas.
Oh, well.
And we should add that It's Always Sunny, now that it has 15 seasons under its belt, it surpassed the 14 seasons that The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet had.
Wow.
But finally, for our top TV stories of 2021, hey, WGN America. It officially became News Nation, and guess what? Nobody gave a shit.
No one
Nope.
cares.
That's it. That's top stories of 2021.
Yeah, that's it. We
That's
basically
it,
said
so-
everything about News Nation in 2020, so screw it.
Screw it!
They did add Dan Abrams. I'll give him a little bit of credit there. And I think everybody likes Dan Abrams. We loved him on Live PD. And Dan Abrams does a heck of a job with Court Cam on A&E.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just nobody's watching News Nation. And the thing is, it's probably going to become a full-fledged competitor to the other news networks in the next year or so. Because I think they air, I want to say, at least 8 hours of news a day now. I think it's from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. or 3 a.m.
It's like they air 8 hours a day of news and 8 hours a day of Matlock.
And 8 hours a day of Last Man Standing.
What are they going to do with the Last Man Standing reruns? Now that it's going to be News Nation. Oh, hold on. I didn't realize Ashley Banfield's now on News Nation.
You didn't know that?
No, I did not.
She's been there since like March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she started, I think, in March, and Dan Abrams, I think, came aboard in September or so.
Okay.
I mean, they do have names, but the problem is nobody's watching. And that's in spite, and we mentioned this, I believe, in the year-end show last year. My Fox affiliate is owned by Nexstar, which owns News Nation. They promote News Nation every night, and supposedly News Nation was only getting like 50,000, 60,000 viewers, which is nothing.
My CBS affiliate is owned by Nexstar, and they pimp out News Nation to the point where I can't watch them anymore.
No, I can't really say I've seen a lot of News Nation when there's better options out there. Not just news options, but just better options, period.
Yeah.
Going back to Pluto TV we mentioned earlier.
All right.
Wall-to-wall bar rescue.
That does it for the first half of the 2021 year in review. Coming tomorrow will be the second half of the 2021 year in review, including our favorite shows of the year, shows that ended in 2021, and the people we've lost in the year 2021. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you tomorrow with the second half.